everyone. I'm Alina. I'm baker and biologist and environmental scientist. And today I'm gonna present the model one for the classes that I'm doing for project One Love project in Gambia, which founder is Amandu. He asked me if I can do some classes about fermentation and biology. And today I'm gonna explain a bit about fermentation. Well, fermentation is a process that occurs inside of the cells of certain microorganisms. First, what is a microorganism? Are organisms that are so small that you can just see it through a microscope or other device, but you cannot see it with the eyes. So, between all the microorganisms, we have mushrooms. Yeah, mushroom. And that mushroom, one very commonly used in the kitchen, is the yeast that I have here, for example. The industrial yeast that you normally use to make bread. But these ones, in just this container, probably millions of yeast. And well, they are in different presentation. The dry yeast is the more common one found in the shop, but you can also find fresh yeast that come in a block like this, like a, you can say butter, look like a mud because it's like soft, but you smell it and smell like yeast. But the thing, if you look at them in this presentation, they're dry, they're deshydrated, and when you add water, you cannot come them back to life. So they're sleeping in this state, inactive. When you add water, they start to get rehydrated and then come to life. But then you have to feed them because they're little animals, like little animals. So you need to feed them. This why in bakery sometimes you add a bit of yeast, a bit of sugar to give them energy, and a bit of flour, and you let them ferment it overnight. And then you can see next day start to have a lot of bubbles and smell very yeasty, and use that ferment to do other fermentation bigger. But first you have to activate the yeast. In other process of bakery, you also just directly add it to water, sugar, and the rest of the pastry that you're gonna do. And then you let it rest 3-4 hours till the bread or whatever you are preparing, sweet bread, grow. And then you see, it's double size, it's ready. But how is that this yeast make that the bread grow? The thing is, when this microorganism, when the yeast eat flour or eat sugar, they poop, you can say poop, gas, CO2, carbon dioxide. And this is the typical smell of the fermentation. So when these gases are released for each one of the thousands of yeast that are inside your bread, they make that the bread grow like a balloon. And this is why the bread double size. But what helps to the bread to grow like this? Well, other part of the history. You had the flour that is dry. Let's talk about wheat flour. So the normal flour, when you hydrate it and mix it with the yeast, and then you mass, and then you prepare and you stretch, and you let it rest again. What you're doing basically there is to broke the connection of the gluten. You broke it when you make the mass, then you let it rest, right? And then the gluten that were broken, they start to get together and start to make long chains of protein. So you can imagine every time that you mix and you mass, you are brokening the connection and then they regenerate but stronger and longer. So that allow to the layers of bread to get stronger and allow and trap all the air. So as much you broken a mass, more stronger the gluten gets and more gas can receive. So this how the bread grow. So together with the fermentation of the yeast, you are making like a big balloon of bread. That's how it works, the fermentation. And yeast can eat different type of flour, not just wheat. Amanda probably teach you already to use different type of flour to make bread. So, for example, if you add a little bit of sugar, you give more energy to the yeast. Also, the milk has sugar, so that help the yeast to ferment more, and you get different type of bread. But yeah, every time it's interesting to see different technique for fermentation. So I hope you liked this video, and yeah, we'll come the next one soon. I wish you the best and all the best with your training. If you have questions about biology or microbiology, about the yeast, also happy to answer. So just ask through a matter. So have a nice day. All the best in your training. See ya.